The year 2025 looms like a specter in the collective imagination, a date etched in shadow by a prophecy that refuses to stay buried. The voice of Jeane Dixon, the enigmatic 20th century seer who foretold tragedies and triumphs with uncanny ambiguity, seems to whisper anew from beyond the grave. A cosmic reckoning, she warned, a collision of fate and folly that will fracture the world as we know it. Her words, dripping with apocalyptic urgency, have resurfaced, igniting a digital age frenzy. Yet beneath the haunting allure of her vision lies a chilling question. Is this a divine warning or a dangerous delusion? Scientists, armed with data and disdain, dismiss it as a carnival trick of the mind. Planetary alignments don't dictate doom, scoffs an astrophysicist, her tone sharp as a scalpel. Chaos theory isn't prophecy, but the human psyche craves narrative, stitching meaning from randomness. We lean into the darkness, lured by the primal thrill of a countdown. To what? A supervolcano's roar, a rogue AI's awakening. Dixon's prophecy, vague as smoke, mirrors our deepest anxieties. Climate collapse, political unraveling, the eerie sense of standing on history's knife edge. Yet here's the twist. The real terror isn't in the prediction, it's in our compulsion to believe. Each tick of the clock toward 2025 becomes a Rorschach test, revealing not destiny's design, but our hunger for control in a universe of variables. Will we let fear eclipse reason, or dare to rewrite the ending? The answer, like the future, remains unwritten. Jeane Dixon emerged from the smoky intrigue of mid-20th century America like a sphinx cloaked in star charts and scripture, a housewife turned mystic, whose prophecies captivated presidents and paupers alike. With her signature pearls and piercing gaze, she claimed to peer through the veil between worlds. Her insights whispered to her, she said, by a divine force during morning prayers. The world clung to her every word. She'd allegedly foreseen John F. Kennedy's assassination in chilling detail, a vision of a dark cloud hovering over the White House that cemented her fame. But for every chilling hit, there were spectacular misses: a predicted cure for cancer by 1967, a Soviet invasion of the US by 1980, all buried beneath the glitter of her celebrity. In a crackling archival clip, her voice, equal parts syrup and steel, floats through the decades. I don't guess, I know. The stars script our fates. Yet the stars, it seems, were fickle co-authors. Behind the myth lay a shrewd calibrator of ambiguity, her predictions often retrofitted to match events or cloaked in vagueness that let believers see what they craved. What made Dixon dangerous wasn't her occasional accuracy. It was her timing. She thrived in an era hungry for certainty, her cosmic pronouncements a balm for Cold War paranoia and societal upheaval. Now, as her final prophecy hurtles toward 2025, modern scrutiny dissects her legacy with forensic precision. How much of her gift was intuition, and how much illusion? A tapestry of confirmation bias and charisma, woven tight enough to fool even the skeptical. The answer lingers like smoke, elusive, intoxicating, and thick with warning. Jeane Dixon's 2025 prophecy unfurls like a fever dream, a mosaic of chaos scribbled in the stars. Beware the year the heavens fracture, she intoned, her words exhumed from dusty archives and draped in eerie, synthesized echoes. The vision is visceral, tectonic tantrums shredding continents, skies choked with ash, nations fracturing into warring tribes. A cryptic nod to a crown of fire descending from the east, hints at nuclear brinkmanship or perhaps a solar flare's electromagnetic wrath. Her warnings drip with biblical grandiosity, floods, plagues, a great rending of truth that could mirror AI-driven disinformation or the collapse of global alliances. Yet Dixon's genius or menace lies in her vagueness, Like a tarot card reader, she trades in symbols, not specifics. Her prophecy, a Rorschach test for doom. Is this a masterclass in intuition or a hall of mirrors? Scientists dissect her claims with clinical disdain. Tectonic shifts unfold over millennia, not deadlines. Political collapse lacks a cosmic timetable. But rationality falters against the raw power of myth. Her prophecy, repackaged for TikTok and Twitter, thrives on the adrenaline of our age. Climate dread, AI anxiety, the gnawing sense that the clock is ticking faster. Listen closely, and her 2025 echoes are present. Wildfires, pandemics, insurrections. Could she have glimpsed a shadow of our trajectory? Whispers a conspiracy theorist in a viral clip, while a historian retorts, "No, she simply held up a funhouse mirror to humanity's oldest fears." The greater terror? Prophecies can become self-fulfilling. Imagine a world bracing for catastrophe, its paranoia sparking the very chaos Dixon described. Her words, once fantasy, now slither into reality, not because the stars willed it, but because we can't look away. Blueprint or delusion? The answer may lie in which frightens us more, the prophecy itself or our capacity to make it real. The scientists arrive armed with equations, not crystal balls. In a sterile lab lit by the cold glow of monitors, an astrophysicist dismantles Dixon's celestial doomsday with the precision of a surgeon. Planetary alignments? She scoffs, pulling up simulations of the 2025 sky. Gravity doesn't care about your horoscope. These rocks have danced this way for eons, and guess what? We're still here. Her cursor traces orbits like cosmic clockwork, reducing prophecy to geometry. Nearby, a climate scientist dissects Dixon's environmental apocalypses, her voice steady but edged with grim irony. Yes, the planet's burning, but not because Venus is retrograde. She flashes graphs, jagged lines of carbon spikes, ice core data screaming truths older than civilization. We've got enough real deadlines without inventing mystical ones. The kill shot comes in a single soundbite, crisp as a lab coat. Predictions without evidence are just storytelling. Yet beneath the rigor pulses a darker tension. A timeline graphic flickers, one side littered with the carcasses of veiled prophecies, Halley's Comet Panic, Y2K Hysteria, 2012 Mayan Madness, the other with science's slow-motion victories, vaccines, climate models, asteroid deflections. The contrast is jarring, mysticism's fireworks versus empiricism's marathon. But why does Dixon's ghost still haunt us? Because data lacks drama. A graph can't replicate the primal chill of her heavens fracturing. The addictive rush of believing we've cracked fate's code. Science's truths are provisional, probabilistic, unsatisfying to souls craving certainty. Yet here's the twist. The scientists' greatest weapon isn't their data. It's their humility. We adapt when proven wrong, shrugs the astrophysicist. Prophets, they just move the goalposts. The haunting truth? Dixon's 2025 may fade like all her deadlines, but the storms she conjured in our minds, those we'll have to weather ourselves. The human mind is a labyrinth of shadows, its corridors echoing with whispers of meaning where none may exist. Psychologists trace our obsession with prophecy to primal wiring, a survival mechanism gone rogue. Confirmation bias clings like a parasite feeding on selective truths. A believer hears Dixon's crown of fire and sees Ukraine's wildfires, not the 1,000 disasters that didn't unfold. Pattern-seeking transforms chaos into constellations, stitching random tragedies into a tapestry of fate, as if a pandemic, a war, and a heat wave are cosmic breadcrumbs, not the drumbeat of a disordered world. We're story addicts, a psychologist murmurs, her voice a blade slicing through delusion. The brain would rather invent a plot than stare into the void. Enter the sociologist, dissecting prophecy as a societal opiate. In an age of climate chaos and AI ascendancy, Dixon's 2025 offers a perverse solace, certainty. It's easier to dread a deadline than drown in endless uncertainty, he argues. Prophecy becomes a script for the anxiety we can't name, a way to rehearse doom rather than endure its formless specter. Audio clips crackle to life, a believer's trembling confession. I stockpile canned goods, better safe than sorry. Collides with a skeptic's sneer, astrology for the apocalypse crowd. Yet beneath the divide lies a shared ache. To believe or dismiss is still to engage, to claw for control in a universe that laughs at timelines. The haunting truth? Prophecies don't predict the future, they autopsy the present. Dixon's 2025 thrives not because it's true, but because it's a mirror, reflecting back our terror of irrelevance, our hunger to matter in a story grander than ourselves. And as the skeptics scoff and the believers brace, the stars watch indifferent, their silence the only prophecy we can trust. The world teeters on the edge of its own contradictions. AI algorithms whisper secrets we can't decode. Glaciers crumble into rising seas, and suddenly even the most rigid minds hesitate. A historian, fingers tracing timelines like scars, unearths an uncanny symmetry. Dixon's vague rending of truth mirrors the disinformation hellscape of deep fakes, while her crown of fire flickers in the glare of climate-driven infernos. Prophecies are palimpsests, he murmurs, scrawled over by every era's nightmares. For a moment, the line between mystic and realist blurs. What if her visions were less about divination than refraction, bending the light of our own follies into eerie focus? Enter the futurist, her tone a tightrope walk between caution and dread. Low probability, high-impact risks aren't prophecies, they're math, she concedes, conjuring scenarios where quantum leaps in tech or tectonic tantrums could align with Dixon's 2025. Yet her spreadsheets offer no solace. A 1% chance of societal collapse still haunts like a ghost in the machine. But fear without focus is a trap, she warns, as clips of pandemics and crypto crashes flash like grim flashcards. Then, the hammer blow. Even broken clocks. A voice rasps, trailing off. The unspoken truth hangs sulphurous. Dixon's hits were accidents, not insight. Yet in the silence between data points, doubt festers. What if her prophecy, however accidental, becomes a rallying cry for preppers, policymakers, or worse, demagogues? The real danger isn't in believing her, but in the chaos of those who half do. As the historian sighs, we've always built monsters to explain the thunder. Now the thunder's real, and we're still clutching at shadows. The stars, indifferent, keep their counsel. Only time that merciless skeptic will write the next line. Jeane Dixon's 2025 prophecy detonates across TikTok and YouTube like a meme Armageddon, its fragments metastasizing in the algorithmic bloodstream. Hashtags bloom like toxic fungi. Dixon Doomsday, Jut 2025 Countdown, while influencers in apocalyptic makeup lip-sync her warnings over synthwave beats. This is why I'm prepping, shrieks a viral creator, her pantry stacked with gas masks and canned beans. The video's backdrop a collage of AI-generated cities aflame. The prophecy mutates, reshaped by every click. A tarot reader live streams Dixon's alignment charts, gamers code 2025 survival sims, and conspiracists splice her voice into fake newsreels. The digital age doesn't spread prophecies, it weaponizes them. A media analyst, face pixelated in a Zoom gloom, dissects the carnage. Sensationalism is the new scripture, she sighs. tracing Dixon's revival to engagement metrics, how doom-scrollable her vagueness is, how perfectly her crown of fire fits Instagram's aesthetic of decay. Algorithms, she argues, are the real oracles, feeding our fatalism because fear clings harder than hope. Responsible reporting can't compete with a jump scare from the future, yet beneath the spectacle festers a darker truth. Dixon's prophecy isn't believed, so much as consumed, a dopamine hit for a generation weaned on crisis. Comment sections split into warring tribes. Open your eyes, she's a warning, versus y'all need therapy, while the line between satire and sincerity dissolves. A teen stitches a 2025 survival guide with those ad links to VPNs and bulletproof backpacks. It goes platinum. The haunting question isn't whether the prophecy is real, it's what we become by spreading it. Each share is a votive candle lit to the god of attention, each view a brick in a tower of collective dread. And as the clock ticks toward 2025, one truth flickers through the noise. The apocalypse has always been a ratings bonanza. The stars may not care, but our screens, they're ravenous. Jeane Dixon's 2025 prophecy detonates across TikTok and YouTube like a meme Armageddon, its fragments metastasizing in the algorithmic bloodstream. Hashtags bloom like toxic fungi. Dixon Doomsday, 2025 countdown, while influencers in apocalyptic makeup lip-sync her warnings over synthwave beats. "This is why I'm prepping," shrieks a viral creator, her pantry stacked with gas masks and canned beans. The video's backdrop a collage of AI-generated cities aflame. The prophecy mutates, reshaped by every click. A tarot reader live streams Dixon's alignment charts, gamers code 2025 survival sims, and conspiracists splice her voice into fake news reels. The digital age doesn't spread prophecies, it weaponizes them. A media analyst, face pixelated in a Zoom gloom, dissects the carnage. "Sensationalism is the new scripture," she sighs, tracing Dixon's revival to engagement metrics, how doom-scrollable her vagueness is, how perfectly her crown of fire fits Instagram's aesthetic of decay. Algorithms, she argues, are the real oracles, feeding our fatalism because fear clings harder than hope. Responsible reporting can't compete with a jump scare from the future, yet beneath the spectacle festers a darker truth. Dixon's prophecy isn't believed, so much as consumed, a dopamine hit for a generation weaned on crisis. Comment sections split into warring tribes. Open your eyes, she's a warning, versus y'all need therapy, while the line between satire and sincerity dissolves. A teen stitches a 2025 survival guide with YouTube ad links to VPNs and bulletproof backpacks. It goes platinum. The haunting question isn't whether the prophecy is real, it's what we become by spreading it. Each share is a votive candle lit to the god of attention, each view a brick in a tower of collective dread. And as the clock ticks toward 2025, one truth flickers through the noise. The apocalypse has always been a ratings bonanza. The stars may not care, but our screens, they're ravenous.